going to mute you as soon as I... Okay. Oh my gosh, we got it to go live. What? Welcome to Awaken Activate call-in show. As you can see, we got some new software that we're going to be trying out. So that way people will understand that Sagi is here with me. So people will actually call when he's on talking. So I'm going to get the phone number up because the phones are going. And like I said, we're testing new software. So I'll let Sagi say hello while I get this rolling out for you guys.
Well, hello. So I'm not sure if I'm somewhere between Taco Tuesday and Shifty Sunday, but I'm just not sure what dimension this is.
We're on Awake and Activate Wednesday night call-in show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I had that penciled in on my calendar. I lost it when I made a left turn on Albuquerque and Jupiter.
Well, are you Sagittarius or just Sagi?
Today I'm just Sagi.
Sagi says.
Yeah, Sagi says. You see how I'm using my constellation because it matches the fancy background you got going on here. I thought we would color coordinate
with the ambiance.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm actually feeling pretty good. I had a nice evening nap. I got a nice cup of coffee, and I see we worked out our technical difficulties. So it looks like we're going to persevere.
Rock and roll. And I had a nice nap too, but.
Yeah, well, you fell asleep under direct sunlight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, with a nice breeze though, but definitely the copper tone kid. Definitely. You know, those old commercials, or are those gone now, where the dog would be tugging on her swimsuit and you could see the line of her burn and they're like, use copper tone.
Oh yeah, I know the commercial.
Yeah, that's me right now. I'm like a lobster, but that's okay. I wanted to start by talking about technology and how technology actually is helping. At the same time, a lot of people are afraid of it, but
it is like a double-edged sword nowadays, isn't it?
It is. Like I have family members and stuff that I can go see, you know, they're a few hours away, but and it doesn't take away the human contact. I'm still seeing them. But with what is going on now, the people are using Zoom conferences. So now I'm actually getting to see my relatives more often, you know, because they're all over the United States. So, I don't get to see them. But now that they're using the Zoom conference, I get to see them.
Right. Well, in a virtual sense anyway, right?
Well, yeah, I get to catch up with them, find out what's going on with everybody. I mean, my parents are in their, late 70s. So, my aunts and uncles are getting up there. So I would like, to be a part of what's going on with them. So, the ones that are close by, I still see them. I still go and have the human contact with them. But, I don't think I would go as far as wanting to have a doctor's appointment on on this kind of a platform where they can't take your blood pressure or do any tests or anything like that. But I do see where it is actually enhancing some things and getting maybe the older generation into the new technology so they can.
I did my first doctor's appointment about 3 weeks ago. My first Zoom doctor's appointment where I just met the doctor in a Zoom conference or whatever.
Yeah, how did it go?
It was interesting. I mean, it was kind of awkward just being with a doctor on a screen versus in person. It just didn't feel like, the same, I don't know, congeniality. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Demeanor?
Yeah, it just was awkward, because she was in California, I'm in Florida, and
Where do you prescribe the medicine? Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Halfway mark?
Right.
Sorry.
No, I was going to try to fit in a cough joke there somehow, but I just couldn't figure out a way to do it. And
cough joke.
But where she says cough, never mind. But,
turn your head. Okay.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, it worked out good. I mean, it was less expensive than going physically up to an urgent care. I didn't have to go up there and, look like a criminal without a mask on.
Oh, I know. I haven't put one on. It's not comfortable. I know they'll bother me anyways. I can't do it. I don't want to breathe in my exhale. I mean, I need air.
Right, yeah. I mean, I would much rather smoke this cigarette than wear this mask. You know what I'm saying?
Are you wearing a mask?
No, I am not wearing a mask sitting here in my living room while doing an Awake and Activate show online.
Have you been wearing a mask?
Maybe I should? Maybe I should go wash my hands real quick. And you know what? Never mind. I'm just going to hang up, okay?
Stop it. You don't hang up again. I lost you enough. Forget that. Oh my gosh. I can't get to the chat. I'm trying. I'm really trying. Well, I, just got this yesterday. So, I've been playing with the software, backgrounds, overlays, thumbnails, banners, tickers, it's a mess.
Well, you know what? It looks like a beautiful disaster right now.
Oh my gosh, there's people in there. Let me do a quick shout out. You guys, and the phones, they are open. So we got Kate Wright, Found In, Suzanne Casey, Rapper J, Brian Stavely. Brian Stavely will be on Friday at I think it's 10:30 a.m. my time, Pacific Standard Time, and 1:30 his time. So that would be your time zone.
Yeah.
You Floridians.
Yeah, 1:30. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what day you said? Friday?
Yes, this Friday.
All right.
Mm-hmm. So look forward to that because he puts himself out there and stuff and does all these things to show people by example. But I want to dig in a little more about his driving force, his awakening, his click. What
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so honestly, he was one of the first Mandela channels that I came across that I actually like resonated with. The other one being Scared Performance, but there's just so many of them out there that are just so kind of over the top and just I don't know how to explain it without trying to sound negative, but he's just got so much passion and so much flair. I mean, sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, but for the most part, I really just enjoy his channel in the sense that he brings when he's talking, you can tell he's coming straight from the heart. He's not trying to sugarcoat it for anybody. He calls it like he sees it. Sometimes he comes off as seeming like he's a little bit angry. So it'll be interesting to see if you're able to get past that outer shell and as to more of what's really going on with Brian. That would be interesting to see.
Well, I haven't had a bad encounter with him, so I sometimes
I haven't had a bad encounter with him either. I'm just looking forward to seeing a softer side of him, I guess is a better way of putting it.
I get you. I'd they've got that accent, and sometimes that accent will make it seem a certain way, when people are speaking in their mannerisms, but that has nothing to do.
I think it's kind of just part of just being that Boston, New York, bravo, that bravado they got. Yeah, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, that I'm not taking any of your guff.
Right.
Like Tony Soprano, he was from New York. You remember The Sopranos, or does that not exist
yeah, for
anymore?
sure. Yeah, I mean, in New York, cussing each other out is kind of a term of endearment. I get that.
Yeah. They love each other. They love each other a lot. So look forward to that. And like I said, I haven't had any bad experiences. I do enjoy that he films when he's doing things that are actually within our Constitution. I mean, it's your right. You're freedom,
honestly though, if there was somebody that if I was going somewhere where I needed to make sure that I was noticed and I was with somebody who wasn't afraid to back down, it would be my friend Brian Stavely. He is definitely not afraid to tell it like it is and call it how he sees it. And I definitely respect
he's
that
got
about
the bail
him.
money. No.
Yeah.
Get us out. Well, he did pretty good with Steffi. She didn't seem to go to jail and look like they had a good time. So, he came over onto my stomping grounds for a little while. So.
Oh, okay. Did you actually get to see him in person?
No, he was down south, and they were doing the beaches and and the Walmart.
I know he recently made a trip to Cali. I saw where he was posting pictures and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping that she would take him to Pyramid Lake because that is down there in LA. I mean, it's kind of far from us here, but Pyramid Lake is one of those places that, it's one of those I don't know, thin spots or it's an anomaly in itself. It's a phenomena. We drove down to.
So why do they call it Pyramid Lake?
Well, there's 3 pyramids. One is up against the side of the mountain, like carved into it. I've got pictures of it. But anyways, and then there's a little island in the middle of the lake that's actually shaped like a pyramid. And then when you're driving around it up the 5, when you glance back, there is actually a 3rd pyramid. There could be more, but those are the 3 that I see whenever I'm driving past.
Now these pyramids are they like Mayan, Aztec? Is it South American culture related?
No. It's the one that is dug into the mountain. It may actually have an entryway into it because that one looks structured, but the other ones are natural formations.
Oh, okay.
It's just beautiful. But when we were going down, we went down to visit my folks down in Orange County. And when I went down there, the lake was like, that's when we were in a drought. I mean, it was like, everyone's like, oh, we're in a drought. The crops are going to fail. And all that was going on back then. Right. Well, I was like, no, it's not going to happen. Well, I went through Pyramid Lake and it was down and you could just tell where the lake bed would sit. And it was way far down. Well, then when I came back, The lake was full. The water was, I mean, gorgeous. Everything was green and plush. And I was like, whoa. And I could feel the difference there. And since then, it's been that way. It has not reverted back to being, in drought mode or any of that. It's always, it's got all the greenery. It's just gorgeous. And like I said, when you drive through it, it's an anomaly to itself. It's just, I just love that area. It
sounds cool. I'm definitely intrigued. I don't know that I've ever heard of it until just now, but it sounds interesting.
It's a national park, so you can look it up. It's in.
Would you say the water is clean and clear?
It's just a beautiful lake. It's not like it's clean and clear. I meant like it was full, but you get like a residue line when the water like recesses too much.
Right.
It kind of makes the lake bed look kind of dirty. But when I came back, it was all full and like I said, when I went down, it was all kind of dried up and the
right. That makes a big difference.
And I was only, down there and giving my parents a break, and I was taking care of my aunt. And then I came back up and, because I was like, oh, this is terrible. We're not having this. And then poof, it was full and it's just gorgeous. And you can tell when you're driving through it, like the air, you just feel lighter. It's a nice area. It's really pretty, but you could look it up. It's in Los Angeles, California, and it is called Pyramid Lake, and it is an actual park,
all right.
national park. But yeah, I try to when I drive by, snap picture, do the best I can without hitting other drivers, but yeah.
Yeah, we're actually going through a drought down here in Florida right now. We have hardly had any significant rain. They're telling us, you can get fined for watering your grass the wrong time of day and things of that nature.
You're kidding.
No, we haven't had rain in a long time. And they don't, so they want you to be a little bit conservative with the water.
It's like this, Sagi. And then, I mean, when are they going to stop? It's like they're throwing everything at us with the kitchen sink right now. I mean, come on. What? I mean, they started talking about aliens again on the news. Let's see, forced vaccinations. The app that you were talking about, what's it called? Tracer. What's it called?
Track and trace, or track and trace.
Yeah, and then you got UFOs. And then we've got a space fleet that Trump's talking about. And then we're at war now with an invisible. It was terrorists, which were pretty invisible. Now it's really invisible. It's so invisible that
I don't know why for extra flair they don't just call them invisible enemies of mass destruction. Wouldn't that sound even cooler?
Our phantom. Yeah. I don't know. It's just so many layers, and then for you to say drought, it's like, what? Really? Come on. Really?
Yeah, I know, right?
What else? I mean, I don't know. My cup.
I've heard whispers that we're supposed to have a really busy hurricane season this summer.
There, drought over.
Yeah, drought will definitely be over then.
Yeah, you think, but we don't want it to be like hurricane. Like, I mean, my skies are so beautiful. I mean, like the puffy white clouds and the different blues that I see. And
I saw that video you posted earlier.
Oh my gosh, those are from last week. I go out there and take my swim, and I looking around. I'm like, wow, these skies are gorgeous. Now I saw a couple of them, a couple lines starting to form, and then they were gone. And
I watched about half of the video. But I started getting dizzy from all that spinning around, looking up. So I had to
Lay
close
down.
my eyes. Yeah.
You had to lay down. Well, they're not all in video form. I took some still shots too.
Oh, okay.
So you must not have got very far because one is from the 15th and one is from the 19th. There's
Gotcha.
two skies. Speaking of skies, we've got my skies 5D with us.
All right.
Hello, hello, hello. You guys, the phones are open. We would really like to test it on this software to see if it works. If it works.
Yeah. Well, who wants to call in? Let us test the phone line, even if you don't have a lot to say. We'll just keep it brief.
Keep it short and simple. This is going to be a short stream, anyways, because I lobstered myself. I boiled myself out of water, though. I got out of the water, though. My son called, and if he would have not called, well, my mom called shortly after that, so one of the two would have woke me up. I was just snoozing. I mean, I would have been, yeah.
I can't believe you did it. Was it you skipped a day, but you've done it twice now, right?
Yeah, I did it last Thursday, and then I had really had to take a break because, and then I couldn't go back swimming again until I think it was Monday or Sunday because I couldn't get back in the sun again. And then, it's that chair. I have this chair that I pulled out, and it's kind of like a recliner. It's a camping chair, but it's like a lounge chair. I think it's way too comfortable or something because I lay back
like it.
when I get out and I
Can
go
you
out.
can you like put an umbrella up by it or anything to cast some shade on you?
Well, the idea is to get a little sun when I'm drying off after I, did my exercises.
Well, what I'm getting at is maybe strategically position it in the just in case I fall asleep section. So like 20 minutes from now, I'll be in the shade if I fall asleep.
I can see my husband now going out there and hiding that darn chair from me.
I would just throw it in the pool or something.
Well, I got another one. It's hidden. I know where it's at. I'll just grab it and drag it out. I'm ornery that way. We actually bought them to go up to ECETI, and we didn't end up using them. And we were going to take them back because, they were a little pricey. But my husband doesn't like to return things. But now I'm glad that he didn't because they're actually pretty darn comfortable as long as I don't fall asleep. But mind you, I was pretty tired when I went out there. I woke up really early. I didn't sleep good last night. And I caught an early live stream of some people. And then, I went and did my swimming and stuff and, just kind of zonked out. It happens. It happens. Okay, come on, my 5D or my skies 5D. Give us let's do it Stavely style. A ring dong dutchie. I always want to sing that song. Ring a ding 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 dong. Call that number. Let's see.
A long time ago, back when I was in high school, I used to be a lifeguard. I got registered at the YMCA or whatever to be a quote unquote lifeguard.
Yeah.
And
what are you going to do about somebody that isn't in the water? They're just laying there and they fell asleep. You wake them up.
Well, you're technically not in the water, so that's not my jurisdiction, man.
Not your problem.
Yeah. But what I was getting at was I had this. I worked in an apartment community that had several little smaller apartment communities, kind of like little satellite communities that branched off of the main one. It's hard to explain, but they had small little like community pools, just enough for like the mini community pool, you might say, not the big humongous community pool. But anyway, to make a long story short, the kids in this particular little community pool every night after the pool was closed would somehow jump the fence and get get into the pool area, and they would take all of the lounge chairs and throw them into the pool. So in the morning, I would have to fish them all out, and it would be like it would take me like a good half hour, 45 minutes to jump in and get all the chairs out of the pool and reposition them on the deck, and on top of all the other lifeguard chores I had to do that morning, right? So I don't know. This happened 2 or 3 or 4 days in a row. I forget exactly how many. And it was Saturday morning, and I was running a little bit late, and I got there like 10 minutes before the pool was supposed to open, and there was a line of kids standing out there wanting to get in and use the pool. They're standing on the hot concrete, but kind of like talking about how their feet were getting hot and all this kind of stuff. Hurry up, hurry up. And
Right.
and I was like, you know what? I'm not getting the chairs today. I was like, if you kids are willing to come in and help me get these chairs out this morning, I'll let you in right away. If not, you're gonna have to wait until I get to it.
What a lifeguard burning little children's feet. This is wrong. Okay, we've
But-
got, what is that? How do we say that name? What? Maximus came from the Really Woke show from Roxanne and Double O. I've known Double O for a while, and that video that you were talking about earlier, that song that's playing, that one, because I always said, share what you know, so we can listen and grow. And so he wrote that song and gave
I
it to
heard
me.
it and I liked it.
Yeah. So that's where they came over from. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. And,
Well, anyway, the end of the story is they helped me, and that was the last time that was ever the case. From that day forward, they quit throwing the chairs in the pool on me.
good.
Yeah,
And then they didn't get burnt toes.
right.
So what are you finding out about that app, that track and trace? I know you're still digging into it. So
Yeah, I am actually. There's a course you can take online if you're interested in doing the job. And I've actually I decided to take the course just to see what they're teaching them. But I'm only about halfway through it, so I will get back to you and let you know. But so far, it's basically saying pretty much common sense kind of stuff. The most interesting thing I've came across so far is two things. They're really big on the confidentiality and how it pertains to contact tracing. So, for instance, there's giving me examples like, let's say you have elderly people that has like a person that comes in their home and takes care of them, and it's like a home health aide or whatever, and you find out that the home health aide is an undocumented worker. Does that is it your business to turn in the undocumented worker because you found out she's undocumented, or do you only stick to the personal information as it pertains to contact tracing? And they actually say not to turn her in, that's her personal business. It's not, you're not the police. You're not there to try to bust people. You're just there in regards to helping them deal with the contact tracing aspect of life, not any other aspect. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And of course you have your own, like, you're going to have I guess I can imagine in the field you would have so many different things you would come across, though, because what if you was to come across a child who's being abused he's in an abusive environment, and at that point, what's the right moral decision? One hand, you're just there to help them with their illness, or lack thereof, or whatever. Then you find out there's a child being physically or sexually abused. I mean, that's you get into a lot of gray lines and slippery slopes there, right?
well, yeah, but one of them would have absolutely nothing to do with that trace track at all. One of them is a criminal act. Anybody that's harming a child or even domestic or, assault and battery or assault on property, personal property, breaking and entering, any of that, of course you're supposed to call and get these people some help. But the thing, everything's done in steps, and maybe they're saying, okay, we're not going to do that now. It's all in progression. And, my thing about it is medical is supposed to be private and confidential. And if we're putting, private and confidential information on a chip that is now being projected around and telling you, and then saying everybody you've been around or anybody you've been in contact with, and so on and so on. I mean, I think that's a little intrusive and also unnecessary. They don't do that for the flu. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate you taking the class because I understand your side of wanting to know, not that you're wanting to do this to people, but you're wanting to know what they're trying to roll out.
Yeah, and how they're training the individuals. What does the training consist of? What are they telling them is the right way to do their jobs?
Right. And you're gonna know that. Bring that out because I'm not about, you know how I am. I really am into sovereignty, freedom, rights, and as expressing yourself and being the creative being that you are. And as long as what you're doing doesn't encroach on somebody else's right to their sovereignty, freedom, and rights to be and create and go about with their freedoms. And I think we're stepping over a line here on overstepping, the boundaries of what is actual privacy and the rights of being, and what is more control. And it's always done in these gradual steps. And they always try to sell it as, we need this will be better for us, or there's always a reason. Every bad thing comes from a good intention, so they can put it out and candy coat it however they want, but still the fact remains, more and more is being taken from the people, and gradually over time, where is this going to lead to? I can see it being corrupted. We're already, getting, if you speak something, you get advertisements for, you had a phone call, with somebody, and they're already giving you ads and stuff like that for a conversation you had maybe with your grandma, what I mean? And she needs a
it really does seem like the machine, whatever you want to call it, is exposing itself. I mean, more and more each day, it's like, it seems like it's being called out on its pervasiveness, and yet it still continues behaving pervasively. So people are waking up to it. But what really blew my mind this last round was how many people not only were willing to go, go run in their house and put on a mask and buy a whole bunch of toilet paper and post up, but how they did it with such enthusiasm and flair. Like, yes, commanding masters, we will follow. We follow you. I mean, it really just seems like that there is, and they just happily handed over all these civil liberties. We will do whatever you say, Grand High Masters.
Yep.
Okay, well that's one thing, but now we are at the now that everything is kind of proven to be what it is, everything the cards fell where they may, the numbers were what they were. That's time to pick up and get back to normal. Oh, not so quick there, buddy.
Exactly.
And that in itself is what makes people start to realize. But the question is are we realizing enough on time, or is it too little, too late?
I don't think it's too late. We're at that precipice now that people are getting pushed too far. That I think, we're on that slippery slope, and it's time
We're
to say
we're at
enough.
that pivotal point where it could go in either direction, and it's real. This is the play. This is that power, that pivotal power play where the game changes momentum based on what happens next.
Right. And well, how I feel about invading people's privacy and their freedom of movement, and I don't know. I don't know. Banging on people's doors. Oh, you were in contact with this person and they're positive. Blah blah blah. I mean, this could be. I could just see it just getting out of hand so quickly, and then putting it in the hands of people that don't understand the concept of confidentiality or, privacy laws, and just I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't worry so much like people like you or me, or most probably 90% of the people in our chat room or in a chat room that's semi-related to a channel like this. But you guys, so many, like I'm picturing like, okay, let's look at imagine like those people that like when the late night talk show host goes out on the streets in New York and asks people, can you name 4 states in the United States? Can you name 5 presidents? And these people don't have a clue. They're like, George Washington was the president, right?
Oh my gosh.
You tell them to name the current president, and the only person they can think of is like James Woods or something. So I don't know. It's
John
you have people
Adams,
you have people out there who really are not plugged in at all and have no clue as to what's really going on. And it's almost like Idiocracy was more of a documentary than a movie made by the co-creator of King of the Hill. And
yeah, that's a scary thought.
yeah,
I mean, but in the meantime, you
do know the head of the wrestling organization. What's his name? I can't think of his name now. He's part of the task force to help us resume normalcy. In the movie Idiocracy, the professional wrestler was the president. Yeah. So it's not that far off.
I don't know. Like I said, if people don't learn from history, it will repeat itself. If we don't learn from our past mistakes, we're doomed to repeat them. And we have to learn from our mistakes because, we fought
It's Vince McMahon. That's his name. Yeah.
World War II, that it was brought in gradually and, as something that was supposed to be for the people, blah, 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 blah. And then look what happened. The power corrupted, and it corrupted absolutely to the point where, look what happened. And I'm not willing to go there. We came over here and established what we established for a reason. And we're also supposed to have a well-formed militia just in case the government gets out of control. And this kind of stuff, equipment and things like that are encroaching on people's privacy and rights of being and their freedoms is wrong. I mean, I just think it's wrong. So that's my thoughts on it. But, everything has a lesson. I mean, I just don't think we need to learn that one again.
Right. I totally agree. I forget what's the name of the I can't remember it now. The name of the so-called tattoo that we're supposed to get. Have you heard anything about this where it's like it only shows up under a light. It's like an invisible ID marker tattoo.
Under a black light?
Yeah.
I'm allergic.
I was reading somewhere, I can't remember where now exactly, but that ink that one way they're going to create that tattoo is through the illuminating substance that's in fireflies. And believe it or not, that stuff is called Luciferian or something like that.
Or luminescent. It's a luminary. I mean, it's a light. Are you talking about the stuff that's in a lightning bug? Did we lose you, Sagi? Hello. Hello.
I was trying to look up the name of the stuff. Yeah. We got a call?
No, I said now somebody would have to call if I'm all alone and you got.
No. I was trying to look up the name of the stuff. I hate when I talk about stuff and I don't have the information in front of me, so I kind of kicking myself in the butt for even bringing it up. But anyway, it's got a weird Luciferian type name. The name of the substance inside it. It just adds to the tinfoil hat club's boxes to check. Another you know how they call it the mark of the beast and 666 and all that kind of stuff. It's just one more little box to check next to that little category.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's time to, start moving in a direction that's more positive towards all mankind. And like I said, there's so many layers being thrown. It's like enough already.
You wake up. You know what though? What I look forward to is like today, for instance. I woke up to a day with hardly any new bad news. Like I just heard a couple places were trying to get back to normal. No major malfunctions. Nobody arrested for protesting. No big major, developments. So I don't know. It's just so weird. You wake up every day, you don't know what's going to happen next.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're throwing so much, at us. I mean, so many different directions that it could.
Well, the way that
if you try to keep up with it all.
Well, basically, what's coming down to is everywhere you go. Like, let's say you go get your hair cut. You're going to sign in at the hair cutting place. You're going to have to provide ID. And you're going to have a record of the fact you were there. Then let's say you leave the hair cutting place and you go to JCPenney. When you walk into JCPenney, they're going to check your ID. They're going to have you sign in when you get there. And if you leave JCPenney and you go home with your haircut and some new T-shirts you bought at JCPenney, right? And then all of a sudden the phone rings, and you had to leave your name and number and contact information at JCPenney, right? And it's a contact tracer. Yeah, we were looking at JCPenney's records, and we see that you were in JCPenney earlier this afternoon. Is that correct? Are you such and such and such and such? And were you at JCPenney at such and such date and time? Well, yeah, I was. Well, it turns out that you may have been exposed. We need you to self-quarantine for the next 14 days. Is that going to be a problem? Well, I just got hired on at a new job now that things are still starting to open up. I really need to go make this money. So are you telling me that you're not going to be able to adhere to the strong recommendation that we recommend that you quarantine? Well, yeah, I mean, I just started this job. Well, what job did you just start, sir? Where is this place located? Well, best believe they're going to show up at the place and see if you're there, and they don't want you out possibly infecting other people at a workplace. So they're going
them with what?
You were recently exposed to COVID-19.
That's an invisible phantom.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm just giving you a scenario of how it could possibly play out. You see.
And I pulled up somebody's question there. What do they think their job is? What what are they actually going to do? I mean, what is the application? Okay, you got your tracer thing goes off. What is the next step? Have they even got that far in the class with you on how?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you've tested positive, you're called unquote a case. Okay, so that once you've tested positive, it's a whole new shebang. If you test positive, then you whatever that particular state and governing body is doing with people who test positive is what you're going to have to do. So it really is important where you live and what the local government rule is. Do you see what I'm saying? As to what is going to happen, because everything's getting treated on a state by state, county by county scenario. Because like if certain counties require this, if you test positive, other states and counties require this. So I really can't speak for where you live, what would happen. You know what I mean? I could just say that for here in Florida, they do say they hold the right to insist that you take a vaccine if they so wish for you to take one.
And see, okay, all right. So there's a possibility that if you're in an area that's like kind of going a little overboard at this point, that they could actually come and remove you, take you somewhere, and force you into isolation for that 14-day or longer.
Right.
It's almost like you could be arrested and detained without cause because you could have no symptoms. See, I don't like the direction that that's going. I just see trouble, and I know you well enough to know that that's why you're there. You're taking that course because you want to know. You want to know all of the details about this. What are they trying to roll out on us? And, what's the best line of protecting yourself against? That's tyranny. I mean, that's tyrannical.
Yeah, but it's all in the name of, the name of protecting health, the greater good, the public interest.
Yeah, Suzanne saying, who's doing the test and how do they know who is what and behind the test results? Tampering, etc. Sounds like a setup, right? Somebody could say, if somebody may not like somebody, they could say, oh, okay, they just came up positive. Maybe they got into an argument with somebody, and I could just see this being so out of control very quickly, and that's all that I'm gonna say about it. But
I mean, just think about when all the kids go back to school. I mean, the kind of tomfoolery that's going to happen once that starts happening, as far as like the box. They're not going to be able to sit in class like they normally would. There's going to be new. Are they going to have kids sitting at desks with masks and gloves on and goggles?
Are they going to start assigning who you can date?
Right.
I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
I know a lot of schools are propositioning this new online classes for as much as you can do online, but I mean, a big part of school is just the fact of getting out there and socially interacting with other kids, and I don't know, it's just
right.
Everything's
They're taking the humanity out, all of the socialization, all of the fun of being. The only reason I liked to go to school was to see my friends. That's the only reason I like to go. When you're young, okay, it's fun, you're learning something, but after a while, you're like, okay, this is boring, but I go because I'm going to see my friends. It's not so I don't know. Just all we need to do, we need to be informed, made aware of what, they're trying to roll out, what the possibilities and probabilities of outcomes could be. So we can make, with them throwing so much out all the time, it's overwhelming to a lot of people. They don't know which way to even point their, to look at, what direction to even look at. But focus in on the things that are removing your freedoms, your rights, your liberties, your humanity. Those things. I mean, anything that is taking away your right to be an individual divine that you are, that's what we need to focus on and make sure that those kind of things do not come to fruition. And this distancing the children, it'll be then, well, it's going to be arranged marriages through the government, or, I mean, I can just see this going so ugly, but I can also see it going in such a positive way, because you can only push people so far before they're going to say, enough. We're done with the scanners at the airport. We're done with all this nonsense. It's over. We're going to travel freely. We're going to move about, and we're going to enjoy our rights, to experience and expand and grow here without somebody else trying to trample on them. Just
Yep.
get it.
They're already, the NFL is already having discussions of possibly playing games in an empty stadium. And not only that, but having like the television station or whatever that's carrying the game. I don't know if you saw on Scare Performance the other day where they had dummies in the restaurant, like mannequins.
Yeah.
So people wouldn't know where to sit for spacing.
Oh my God.
They're literally considering putting fake fans in the seats to make it look like the stadium's full, and putting and pumping in crowd noise through the speakers, and having an expert sound person create the crowd noise the way that the crowd would naturally respond if it was a home game when their team is in certain situations, to create what in a normal game how the audience would sound like during a 4th and 1 play, where they would be either ridiculously loud or quiet based on who has the ball and things of that nature.
And how are they going to do the wave?
Somebody's going to have to run behind each one and raise their hands, and then run to the next one and raise his hands. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Or maybe they'll
animatronic, or
maybe they'll just get smart and put a blue screen over the seating, and that way they can create animated fans. Like they can just create virtual fans. And give them personalities and things of that nature, like Digital Dave and Biometric Mary, things like that.
See, guys, this is why I go and I swim and I enjoy my peace and the serenity. Because of when you peek in at all of this, it's so much garbage, and I don't want to intake all that. I just don't want to. I don't even want to digest it. I'll peek in to know what I need to be looking at, for direction. But I'm not staying there long. I'm stepping back out of that miry muck, and because I'm not seeing any of that. See, I don't wear the mask. We're not being forced to wear the mask. Things are opening up over here. Our skies are beautiful. I mean, over here, what I'm dealing with in real life is totally opposite of what we're talking about, of all this, chaos and craziness and tracing and turning in people if they're an illegal but it's always been that if you see a crime being committed, you should try and help the victim. I mean, you shouldn't just stand there and watch somebody be violated or hurt or harmed in any way. But I mean, when they're sitting there even discussing that, well, if it's a child being, should we say something then? Well, duh. What does your heart tell you? Protect that child. I mean, that's like emotion. That's normal human. I mean, it's like they're taking the humanity out. People don't even know how to respond to a very basic human instinct. of
Right. And then you also have, relative to what? Like say like, let me give you an example. Let's say you're following up on a you're doing a contact tracing. You're following up on an elderly person, and you just want to make sure that that she's being cared for. You got her in touch with social services so that she can have um, a home nurse come see her. Okay, so you're calling her back, right? And you're on the phone with her, and you're trying to get through a little questionnaire thing that you got to fill out, okay, or something along those lines. And in the background, you hear some guy screaming at her, cussing at her, putting her down, calling her a piece of crap or whatever. I mean, yeah, she's being verbally abused, but she's also, it's not an ideal situation, but it's still her personal life, whoever that is that's with her, that's her decision to live there and being. I mean, there's degrees as to what you do interfere with and don't interfere with.
What if it's the television?
Yeah, yeah, it could very well be. Yeah, you don't know what's going. Maybe maybe they're practicing for a play in the background. Who knows? But
right.
but
maybe it's you and Hebrew.
Right, but it sounds like a terrible, awful situation, nevertheless. But it's still not your place to report. Is it or isn't it? You have lines of gray all over the place. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's not here. If you hear something, say something. It's if you see something,
right.
If you physically seen her son strike her, or she's got bruises on her face, and you can
right.
Then okay, but not through this app or whatever. That's too far.
Right.
Neighbors, other loved ones, keep an eye on these kind of things. That's not a normal thing. It's not a normal behavior for people to treat people like that. And it seems like they're acting like we are back in preschool and we don't even know basic social skills. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, but we're grown. A lot of, we're grown adults. I know everybody in this chat is a grown adult, and we know how to conduct ourselves around other people in a manner that is non-violent. You can have a disagreement with somebody and walk away and still love each other. I mean, we're not supposed to agree on everything. But that doesn't mean we're going to, go to blows over it or anything. I mean, come on. It's just crazy talk. Is anybody going to call and test out these phones and see if we got anything, if it's even working? I haven't actually been checking, but I just did. There's nobody in there. When it's just me and you, why do you mute? What are you doing? What are you doing over there?
I got a dry cough.
Uh-oh.
I don't want to be coughing in the microphone.
You don't want a contact tracer hearing that.
That's funny.
They don't care about grandma get beat up. They care about your dry cough.
No, but when we hang up, I'll probably see an ad for like a cough drops or something.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Probably. Yeah, that's how it works. I mean, they've already been, doing that through consumerism, but still consumerism, we still have a choice, say, nah, we don't want to buy that product. They can put it in front of our face. We don't have to buy it. But when they're like applying something and forcefully enforcing it, that's different. It's a completely different animal. So I don't know. I'm not liking it. But like I said, I don't deal with any of that. I don't see it. I don't see, there's nobody telling me I can't go in a store when I'm not wearing a mask or anything. The skies are beautiful. Everybody's really, calm and nice. And I'm in California. So there's a lot to be said there. This is a very densely populated state, and people are really good to each other. They're being very kind to each other. So, my baby. Sagi's muted, so I can't mute. I can now. Hang on. He'll talk. Come here, honey.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, back to what she was saying. I mean, it's one of those things where I think you want to know what's behind the curtain, just, so you know what the wizard is up to, but you don't necessarily want to work for the wizard.
Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with that wizard. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to know what's going on behind the curtain, though, right?
What was that movie with Sandra Bullock and they put she put that thing on his head. He was like a police officer from the past or whatever, and every time they said a word, they got docked. They got in trouble, and every restaurant was a Taco Bell, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to go? You want to have sex?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's been like on ice for hundreds of years. And she puts this thing on his head, and he's like, "What the heck is that?" And then she's like, "Well, what did you think? Bodily fluids? Ew." I mean, like, it was the worst thing ever. I mean, is that where we're heading here? I mean, what? No. And I think even on that show, they had to, like, for having babies and stuff, they had to go through weird hoops and no, we're not going that direction, are we, guys? We're gonna make sure.
I don't think so. I hope not.
That just doesn't happen.
They say, like, in a utopian society, everybody just does what they're passionate about, and we all just kind of like have life credits, so we can have a pleasant, maintaining a pleasant lifestyle. You have you have all the water and nice food and comfortable living arrangements and things of that nature, but there is no excess, but everybody has just enough to have, so that there is no want for not having, but nobody has excess either. And everybody just gets up and does what they're passionate about every day as their job. I mean, is that a utopian society?
Utopia to me is everybody has the right to choose, where they want to go, what they want to be, and the freedom to move about without any restraint. Just and have we have social skills already. They're ingrained within us. We know how to treat each other. We don't, it's just freedom and unity and loving each other for the diversity that we bring. That's what makes life interesting.
Right.
Putting children in a box and telling them this is your area on recess that you have to play in. I think that's a little draconian, a little tyrannical, and I would not be comfortable putting my children. I'm glad my children are grown. I would not want them in the school system today. And I am going to.
I mean, they're eventually going to have kids of their own, though, and then you're going to have grandchildren going through it.
Yeah, I have grandchildren, so I'm going to ask my doctor what the shots records are today. I have my children's, so I know what they had to have, and I also have my own, and I want to see how much of an uptick that we are really have done here, and that we're subjecting our little ones to. I know that the vaccinations have really, like, more than quadrupled from when I was young. I mean, I didn't go through. I thought it was a lot with my kids. I mean, it was like twice as much of what I had to go through. So, it's too much. But I want to get the proof. I want to get shot records. Because they put the dates and stuff in there. So I want to see what they're supposed to have today versus when my kids, so that would be 20 years ago, and then back to my records and what I needed. So I'll have all three of them in front so I can make a logical comparison on what they're actually doing today. I'm going to make this one a nice short one, Sagi. So do you have any final things to say to everybody today?
I would say the last and closing thought, I mean, based on everything that we just discussed, with this election coming up, I think things are going to get off the chain. I think if things are going to get so crazy, you're going to see people doing things are going to get so heated politically, and people are so polarized. I guess I would say try your best not to buy into it. Don't let them convince you that you gotta pick a side, and I mean, if you want to pick a side, pick a side. I'm not telling you what to do, but just don't feel like don't let them force you into their narrative. Don't go into it. Don't let them sucker you into thinking that you gotta choose a political side. I don't know the best way to find the words to say what I'm trying to say, but I just know that it's going to get really, it's going to get, that political race is going to get really ugly, and I am not looking forward to it. I'm probably going to have to turn off my radio and my TV when these ads really start ramping up, but I'm not here to go on and on and on about political stuff. I'm just really, I don't think that this whole thing is going to ever really come to any type of resolve until after this race has been decided, unfortunately. But I am thankful for being here. It has been a real treat to be on your show tonight. Sorry we didn't get any calls, and I would like to thank everybody in chat for coming, and those who are lurking for lurking, and thank you, Michelle, for having me on your show tonight.
Yeah, and we'll continue on with this, like, weekly. And I do want people, even with any kind of experiences, Mandela, whatever it is you want to share, that's what this is for. We're just trying to get it, stabilized, that we'll be here on Wednesdays. Even though we're talking on a topic, that's only because nobody has called, because then you'll get the topic. So,
we want people to call. We want to keep trying. We want to create a platform where people can come on and share their experience and make we want to hear your story. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear what's going on with you. So,
yeah, and what's going on in your area, how this is affecting you, even if that's what you want to talk about as current events, that's fine too. All is good. And as he was talking, as Sagi was saying, I'm not going to get into the mudslinging either. And don't feel like you are forced to polarize. Don't, write in Mickey Mouse if you want to, or don't even mess with it. Walk away from it. Maybe it's time that we are walking away from it because it's getting so ugly. Who knows? Something to think about, though. So, on that note, roll that beautiful bean footage.